Hello and welcome to one of my most unique builds in Remnant from the Ashes. This build is quite simply centered around your ability to consistently and effectively dodge. However, the only real struggle is just getting that first one, despite how impossible my gameplay makes it look. Simply because with the setup we have, when we dodge, we actually get some seriously good buffs. So for this build, I am using the Akari set, which increases your fire rate, reload speed, movement speed, melee attack speed, your dodge duration. Just generally buffs you as a whole, really, quite moderately so for a decent chunk of time. And I am using the Akari warband. This increases our critical chance and critical damage, which puts us at, with the buffs active, roughly at about 40% critical chance, or 45% actually taking into account the weapons themselves, as well as 90% critical damage. Now, I did actually struggle finding the correct jewelry setup for this build. However, there was something I actually realised while running the math of the DPS of this. I did actually think that possibly using Devouring Loop would give me enough of an edge to get some decent damage out. However, like I said, running through the math, I discovered that I had a 0.01875% probability of it actually proccing at all, due to the DPS rate, particularly in the melee weapon. But I thought, you know what, screw it, I'll try it anyway. And for some odd reason, real life math does not compute in this game. I ran it and the difference was absolutely absurd. So I'm running the submachine gun with Stormcaller, and you'll see why I'm running that in a minute, along with the Eye of the Storm, because this is very good at dealing high amounts of damage pretty frequently, and the overcharged or overload perk on it is just brilliant. The voice of the Tempest melee is potentially one of the best melee weapons in the game, simply because shock damage does seem to ignore a good chunk, if not all, of the armour. And again, the overload perk allows you to deal decent damage to a large group of enemies, or at least an enemy that's trying to dodge or flee. Like I said, the Akari set with the Akari warband, that is where a good chunk of our damage is coming from. However, Devouring Loop does seem to be more than enough with its 0.01875 probability of even proccing. However, when it doesn't proc, we are running the Storm Amulet just to get a little bit more damage out there, which is 20% on shock damage, which does also apply to, or seem to apply to, Stormcaller. This is very good when there's a large amount of enemies, or if you do need to make a pretty interesting escape due to the fact you take 50% less damage. I have found that it is pretty good for maneuvering as well as just getting away. If you wish to go for the blink perk, where you can actually teleport and detonating a thunder pulse at the same time, that does work quite well. If you aren't interested in running a very low probability jewelry, then there are some others you can go for. One of the main ones that I would recommend is going to be Stone of Balance. This buffs both your ranged and your melee. However, honestly, just go through your rings and just find what you like. The Akari warband is one that I would heavily suggest. But as for Devouring Loop, I'm enjoying it at the moment, but there are a multitude of things that you could potentially run, and it also depends on how you want to weigh your gameplay. I've gone for more of a melee stance. You may wish to go for more of a range stance. That's the beauty of this build, and why I'm actually really enjoying it, is it's very adaptable. And as long as you're able to dodge, or at least get that first dodge, because after you've got the first one, your dodging is also buffed as well. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again pretty darn soon. Have fun. Ta-ra!